Hi guys, I'm going to go over my favorite part of this whole tutorial section, and that is how to see if what you're pricing is enough to meet your business goals for the year. So today we're going to talk about, in our last video, we said that in this example, as a portrait photographer, we wanted to net $50,000. So I'm going to kind of show you how it came about, these numbers, and how you can use this example to set your own business goals. So you'll notice right here that I have my goal for revenue is 60,000, but I want to net 50, and that my goal for expenses, and it's not really a goal, but that's just how much you think you're going to spend in expenses per year. And expenses, we know, is office supplies, any additional equipment you're going to buy, computers. Your expenses can be the cost that you have to pay to second shooters. So for the sake of this example, I said that my expenses was at $500 per month. That's my month-to-month expenses, okay? That would be like my internet fees, my web hosting, my website fees, my cell phone, things like that, okay? Now, your number could be way less or way more. This is just an example so that you can kind of see simply what we're saying to see how you should price your sessions. Okay, so we're going to say that my expenses is 500. Now, 500 times 12 months is 6,000, but our expenses is at 10,000. I went ahead, and since this is an example of a portrait photographer, they don't really have to worry about second shooter expenses and things like that necessarily. So I just said that in this year, I probably am going to buy a lens and maybe a computer, and I already know that ahead of time, so I'm just going to include that. So that's why I said $4,000 more and set that to 10,000. If you're a wedding photographer, and let's say you have 15 weddings booked for the year that you're working on, and you already know how much you pay that second shooter, go ahead and include that in the right here in this, like where we have the 10,000. So you would have your month-to-month expenses, and then you would go ahead and include what you're going to have to pay out in second shooter or assistant fees, or if that client purchased an album, you would put that in the cost of goods, because that's stuff you already know you're going to have to pay out, okay? So this is how we can get a better idea of how much you need to bring in to meet your yearly goals. Okay, so for this example, and this is not even including the tax amount, okay guys? So on 60,000, I don't know about where you're at in your bracket, your tax bracket, and there's like a lot of, because of your location and all that. So listen, this is super important. When you email your accountant to ask for the federal rate and the state rate, you need to say, hey, this year, if I brought in $60,000 and I had around $10,000 in expenses, what would be the tax that I would owe? They're going to say, I need a lot more information. I can't just give you a number. You just need to say, what is worst case scenario, okay? Because even if that's not what you owe, cool, you'll have more money at the end. But you want to prepare yourself for the worst case scenario, because you do not want to get to the end of the year and think you hit all your goals only to owe like $15,000 in taxes, because that would like be so bad, and no one wants that email from the accountant, right? Been there, done that, don't want to do that, okay? So super important that you ask them that. So, but for this example, I'm not even going to include what you need to bring in, because obviously if you're making 60,000, let's say you owe 12,000 in taxes, you really would need to bring in 72 to make 50. See where I'm going? But for the sake of this, we're not even going to include the taxes that you'll have to pay on top of that. But when you do this, you need to ask him or ask your accountant the taxes that you're going to owe for that. Okay, so we're going to take 60,000. This is a portrait photographer. They shoot, let's say, they don't really shoot mini sessions. They shoot full sessions. They don't do IPS. They just give their client the images on a gallery, and, that's how they do their business. Okay, so 60,000, and let's say they charge $300 a session. Okay, so that's 200 sessions for that year to bring in that. So 200 divided by 12 is 16.6. So roughly 17 sessions. So around 4 to 5 sessions a week to really get to hit this goal, okay? So this is how you can start telling if what you're making is actually going to get you to what your business goals. And if you need to be like business planning because it's so important, once you have a plan, and then you can kind of feel more confident in the prices that you charge, like, no, this is what I need to make a living and this is what I'm charging. So this will help you gain confidence in knowing, no, it costs a lot to run a photography business. I have to buy equipment, I have to pay shooters, I have to purchase the products. Like, this is going to give you confidence to know, yes, you can be charging this much. So first things first is you will need to come up with, hey, what do you want to net? Whether or not you just quit like a corporate job to pursue being a photographer, I would make your first goal probably what you were making at the other job. Or if you're going from hobby to professional and you really want to make this your career, like, what do you want to be making? Okay, so you're going to come up with that. That's going to go right here in your net, okay? And then I would kind of work backwards. So then you're going to figure out your expenses, your second shooters, your assistants, if you're going to buy equipment, computers, things of that nature, okay? And then your month-to-month expenses. Put that number here. If you have already sold packages that have prints, products, albums, canvases, you're going to want to input the amount you're going to have to pay out for that in here because you already know you're going to have to pay that out. From there, you can get this number. Now, once you get this number, that's when you email your accountant, ask him or her, hey, if I bring in this much money, what is worst case scenario on taxes that I'm going to have to pay out if these are my expenses? Okay? And then once they give you that number, you can change this number to include that. So just like how we did where we said, 60,000 divided by 300 because that's what they currently charge. So like let's just say it's 72,000 and you're a wedding photographer and you charge 3,000. That's 24 weddings you're going to have to sell that year, right? To bring in $72,000. So see what I'm saying? So if you're not able to charge that much, but you want to make that, this is where we're going to have to grow your business this year to increase your prices so that you can start hitting your yearly goals of your income. If you have any questions about any of this, just feel free to email me at bp4uguides@gmail.com, or you can directly reply to the download email. I would love to talk to you about your business goal planning and how different ideas we can help you with increasing your revenue this year and really getting you to where you want to be.